Yo, what is going on? Room is a complete mess, but we're going to try and bang out some season win totals in the AFC. We will get straight to it. I've maybe got 20 minutes, so we'll see if I can bang out a quick 20 minutes, get this uploaded, make a thumbnail, and get out of here. Got to head to work, but last of my 4 night shifts, so that's nice. But we will be starting off with the AFC West, and we'll start off with the Chargers, who I am taking the under on the Chargers at 9.5 wins. As much as I love Harbaugh, and I think that the Chargers are a super talented roster, I uh, I don't think that Mekhi Becton is going to stay healthy. Rashawn Slater injury is a big deal. Ignore how much of a mess my room is, but I think the Rashawn Slater injury is really what did this team in for me. I think the normal strength of a Harbaugh team is offensive line and the run game, and I can't say that I trust this offensive line to be great this year besides Joe Alt. Everybody else I think is going to be either injured or bad. So I'm not super high on the Chargers. I really liked the draft of Omarion Hampton, but Najee Harris is still not playing and seems to be just straight up missing an eyeball at this point. So I can't say that I'm super high on the Chargers running room. Now, I expect Harbaugh to run the shit out of the ball, but I'm going to take the under on the Chargers. Sneaky under. Sneaky under. I think they actually finished last in the division, shockingly enough. Um, Next up, we can take the Raiders. I'm a Raiders fan, so take this bias as it is. I would absolutely obliterate the over on the Raiders at 6.5 wins. I think this is a lock. This is a 401k bet. We'll see if I would be out of my retirement, but this would be a 401k bet. Bet the house, bet the car, bet the kids. I mean, so we're middle of the road in terms of strength of schedule. Of course, we're playing in a tough division. We went from being the worst, top 3 worst quarterback situations in the league, top 3 worst head coaching situations in the league, and top 3 worst running games in the league. To we're going to have hopefully a great running back. We have a Hall of Famer head coach and at least a middle of the road quarterback. I expect a giant improvement from my Las Vegas Raiders. We might not be a playoff team, but I think that we're going to definitely win more than 6.5 games. I think our floor this year is 7 games, to be honest with you. Next up, we can go to the Broncos. I would take the over on the Broncos, 9.5 games. I think that defense has best defense in the league possibilities and ceiling. I think is best defense in the league. Bo Nix is solid. I'm not going to act like Bo Nix is an MVP front runner this year, but Bo Nix is going to be a good quarterback. And I think the offensive line is always going to look good. They've got great pieces, and they've got Sean Payton, so the offensive line is always going to be solid. And I would expect a solid year from RJ Harvey, who they just drafted. I think that he's going to be decent. And I think the defense is going to look insane. Their strength of schedule by PFF is 14, so middle of the road. So I would expect them to have a good season. They didn't beat a lot of playoff teams last year. That would be my concern. I think they beat one playoff team, and they got waxed in the playoffs by the Bills. But I would be just like a hesitant over on the Broncos. I think that they're going to have a great defense. I don't know. I don't know. Their skill positions are not great. I mean, don't get me wrong. What the hell is their receiver's name? This is bad. You guys know who I'm talking about. The Broncos wide receiver one is solid. I don't think he's an elite receiver by any means, and their run game isn't going to be elite. But I think RJ Harvey should bolster that running back room. And between the defense and Bo Nix hopefully making smart decisions for the season, I would expect them to win 10 games. This is another one where I'm like just barely taking, like on the Broncos, I'm just barely taking the over, and on the Chargers, I'm just taking the under just a little bit. Um, the Chiefs at 11.5. I think this is an easy over. I fucking hate the Chiefs with a passion, but I have to give respect where respect is due. Last year, they were the most injured team in the league, maybe outside of the Lions. They were super injury prone, and they still won like 15 games. They were 15-1, and they didn't even play their starters in the last game of the year. Um, they're going to be another Super Bowl contender. I don't think that I'll personally bet this because it's the Chiefs and fuck the Chiefs, but it's an easy over for me. They are going to have an actual receiving core this year. Isaiah Pacheco is going to hopefully play more games. I mean, he can't play. There's not a great chance he plays less games than he did last year. So I can expect nothing but the Chiefs to be an improved offense and probably the same level defense. Still the best quarterback in the NFL. Still the best coach in the NFL. definitely the best coaching quarterback in the AFC and in the AFC West. So, I mean, it's the best. I mean, how are you going to bet against that? And it sucks. I fucking hate the Chiefs, but I got to give the Chiefs their credit where their credit is due. I think that last year they were missing their wide receiver 1, 2, 3, and their running back 1. It was bad. It was bad. Rashee Rice wasn't playing. Xavier Worthy, I think, missed a couple games, and what's his name? Fuck names again. Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown was out. Rashee Rice was out. Not a good, not good for them. Not a good season health wise. And I actually think Travis Kelce might have a slight bounce back year. I can't say I'm going to expect him to be great or the best tight end in the league or even a top 5 tight end in the league, but I think that he will be good again. Last year was a bit of a down year because I think he was the only person that the defense focused on all year. This year, that should be opened up a little bit more. Travis Kelce was talking with his trainer about becoming more mobile and becoming a much faster this year. So I think that could be good. I'm also last year was very distraction heavy for Travis Kelce, in my opinion. You know what I mean? He's trying to he's dealing with fucking Taylor Swift. He's trying to fucking do all this other shit. Doing, you know what I mean? I just think that he's second year of this situation. He's going to be a little more settled in, I guess. Which is, of course, not really super football related, but I think that it could mean something. I'm sure you guys love watching me take 100 drinks of water every time, but we'll move on to the AFC East. We're going to start off with the Jets at 5.5. I would actually take the over on the Jets at 5.5. There's going to be more overs than there will be unders, but I think when we get to the NFC, it might be the other way around. Shockingly enough, I would take the over for the Jets. I think that they will win 6 or 7 games, and Aaron Glenn is going to have this defense looking awesome. It's a very talented defense. Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams, just to start. You know what I mean? Just to get it out of the way. You know what I mean? You have those two dudes. Those dudes are both elite, top 5 players at their position. And now you have in my opinion, guy who was already maybe a top 3 defensive coordinator in the league, and you know he's going to call the defense. So I would be high on the Jets. Not high on the Jets like they're going to win 10 games, but high on the Jets like they're going to win 6. They're going to win 7 games. They're going to win somewhere around there. They're going to sneak over this 5.5 to me. I think that Justin Fields, as much as he gets shit on, has the ability to lead a competent offense. He's not going to be awesome, but he's going to be a Justin Fields offense will always have a certain level of dynamic. Is there a word for that? Dynamicness? Dynamicity. I don't know. I'm just making shit up. But if that's a word, that's a bad word. But yeah, I just think that anytime that you have Justin Fields, there's always going to be that running threat. Teams are always going to be worried about that. Also, his chemistry with Garrett Wilson, who he played in college with. And then you also have Breece Hall and Justin Fields' ability in the read option game. I would be high on the Jets. Not high like they're going to win a ton of games, but high like they're going to win some games. We'll move on to the Patriots. We are going to take a very sneaky close over on the Patriots at 8.5. I think they will win 9 games. And if they get lucky, 10, maybe 9 games. Not a 401k bet. Not a 401k bet, but they win 9 games. They barely get over the top to this over. They're right there. They barely make it. Last game of the season, they win. I'm not going to go too far in on the Patriots, but I mean, fuck the Patriots. But I like Drake May. I like Drake May out of college. He was good at UNC. And I really, really liked the draft of Travion Henderson for this team. They needed a home run hitter. They needed a guy who can get out there in open space and make a fucking play. I would be bullish on the Patriots, but not bullish enough to say they're going to win 10 games. But we'll take the over on 8.5. The Bills at 11.5. I will take the over. That is not a shocker. Josh Allen, if he's healthy, you just have to assume that he's going to win 12 to 14 games. All-time great quarterbacks get it done. They win the division. They win 12 games. That's what he does. That's what they're always going to do. James Cook is back. Hopefully they're a little bit more healthy. They have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Hopefully that defense can stay a little bit more sturdy than it has been in previous seasons. I would have the Bills winning 13 games around there, maybe 14 games. They are 24th in strength of schedule by PFF. So I would be bullish on the Bills to clear this 11.5 number. This would be a 401k bet. This would be Josh Allen stays healthy, you're in the clear. And lastly, in the division, we're going to do some hating. The Dolphins at 8.5. I would obliterate the under. I would slam the under. Bet the car, bet the house, bet the kids, bet whatever you want to bet. Bet your rear end. The Dolphins are in trouble. It's not impossible that they could win 9 games, but I don't think Tua's going to stay healthy. He doesn't have a record of doing that. He's not exactly known for being a pillar of health. So you can take out a couple games there because I don't know if it's Skylar Thompson. I don't know who their backup is now, but it's going to be a rough time when Tua's not in. So at least a couple games, I think there's going to be no Tua. Mike McDaniel seems to have just straight up lost the locker room. I don't know what's going on. Tyreek doesn't give a fuck. Everybody's showing up late. Tua's like trying to piece together the team and like hold together this shit. I think Tyreek's going to be gone. I think Mike McDaniel's going to get fired. I don't know if you guys saw Jalen Ramsey's comments recently. I think he was on a podcast talking about how he's on. I traded him for Minka, right? How he's on the Steelers. Maybe I'm off on that, but I'm pretty sure he's on the Steelers. And saying it's nice to have a coach who's like well respected in the locker room. I thought that was crazy. I can't believe that he said that. Like, that's kind of a dig at yeah. He's on the Steelers. And he said that it's nice to have a coach who's respected in the locker room, which is fucking crazy. Hey, that guy must have really fucking not liked Mike McDaniel, but Mike McDaniel got to get a handle on this. I think that franchise is in trouble. I think McDaniel's gone. I think Tua's going to probably continue getting hurt, which sucks. I hate saying that, but I root for that guy. Tua seems like a nice guy. He seems like a great dude, but I can't. My money has no love. My money just wants more. You know, so I wouldn't be betting on the Dolphins. AFC North, we have the Browns at 4.5, and I think a lot of bettors are gonna sharp guys might actually take the over on this. I think I'm taking the under. I think that Shador probably will get in, and I think they could win more than 4.5 games, but I'm taking a sneaky under. I think they win exactly 4 games. They are ranked 6th in strength of schedule by PFF. Their offense is going to be terrible, and I think Kevin Stefanski is going to get fired, which he does not deserve. And I think later on in the season, the only chance of him saving his job is throwing in Shador, throwing in Dylan Gabriel when they're not ready with a terrible skill group. I don't care about Jerome Ford. Quinshawn's literally in jail. No. I've seen Brown fans in my comments. I called the offense isn't as bad as you think. Okay. The offense is going to fucking suck. Defenses will be good. I like Mason Graham. I like, what's his face? Myles Garrett, obviously. I got to take the under. Steelers. Sorry, Steelers fans. 8.5. I'm taking the under. I actually think that Aaron Rodgers might be acceptable, but I just don't believe in the Steelers this year. I think this is a down year. I don't know what it is. I don't like it. Something doesn't feel right. This is a gut bet. Because the Steelers do this shit every year. They win at least 9, 10 games every year. I know that a lot of people every year are like, this is Mike Tomlin's year. He's finally going to have a losing season. This is the first time I believe. I got an odd feeling about this one. Between Aaron Rodgers being old as fuck, Aaron Rodgers, probably my favorite NFL player of all time who's not a Raider, but I think that he's going to be decent. I think that he was decent on the Jets. He was acceptable on the Jets. He wasn't good, but he was a serviceable quarterback on the Jets. And I think that he will be serviceable if he's healthy. But again, my money's not betting on that guy being healthy, right? And not to mention, I think that the defense is going to take a step back. I don't know. At some point, the defense has to take a step back. TJ Watt is not getting any younger. As great as he is, he's not getting any younger. They traded away Minka. They got Jalen Ramsey. I'm not really too high on Jalen Ramsey anymore. I don't think he's as much of an impact player as many people seem to think. And the fact that they are going to be in a terribly tough division. Actually, I'm taking the under on 3 teams in this division, so maybe they're not going to be in a terribly tough division. But a big reason I'm taking the under on a lot of these teams is because I think that the division's going to be good. And I think that the Ravens are going to beat the shit out of everybody in this division. Easy over. Easiest year in their division, I think, in a long time. I think this division has been insane all the time. We're stepping down from insane to good. It's a good division. Last year to start the year, the Ravens had a terribly inconsistent defense. I would be willing to bet that this defense will be a lot more consistent and will be much better. I would take the easy over at 11.5. I would slam the over. They won 12 games last year. I think they can win 13 this year. I can't say that I'm expecting the same level of season from Derrick Henry, but if that defense can be consistently what it was at the end of the year last year, and I think Lamar kind of got over a hump last year. I think Lamar was finally beat those playoff demons. I think this could be the Ravens' year. I'm not a Ravens guy historically, but I think that the Ravens have a shot. They could do it. They could win the Super Bowl this year. And we will finish off the AFC North with the Cincinnati Bengals. Your Cincinnati Bengals, whoever the hell's a Bengals fan watching this, under. Sorry. My bad. But Joe Burrow's my favorite player who's not a Raider right now. Him and Josh Allen probably are up there. If they trade Trey Hendrickson, I'm taking the under. If they keep Trey Hendrickson, I'm taking the under. I think that this defense is going to suck. It could be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 slots better than last year. I can't expect a triple crown and 5,000 passing yards again. Last year was awesome. They had an insane season. Don't get me wrong. They could win a sneaky 10 games. This is a bit of a stay-away team for me. I wouldn't bet this. I would leave it alone. But if I was, I think I'd take the under. I think a lot of people are taking the over. I think a lot of the dopes, a lot of the doofuses, they're taking the over. Me personally, I got to take the under. I think the defense is still going to suck, especially without Trey Hendrickson. The defense is really going to suck. And even with Trey Hendrickson, is Trey Hendrickson going to lead the league in sacks again? No. Good guy. Seems like a solid dude. Had an awesome year last year. He's not doing that shit again. I like Shamar Stewart. I hope that he ends up being good, but they could maybe sneak their way to 10 games, but I'm not taking out the old checkbook on that. The AFC South. This is where we have some more interesting stuff. The Panthers at 6.5 games. Sneaky over. Sneaky, gross little over. Little nasty little over. I'm taking the Panthers to win 7 games. Just fucking creep right over that 6.5 game line and win you some money. Carolina fans, better love me. Sneaky over. I think Ted McMillan's going to be solid. I think that Bryce Young is going to be acceptable and going to continue to improve. The defense is going to be god-awful. Probably. Most likely going to be god-awful. But I like Chuba Hubbard. I like Ted. And I like Bryce. And I think that can sneak your way to 7 games in a division that I don't think is going to be as good as a lot of people think. The Colts, 7.5 games. We are going to obliterate the under. This is a bet the car bet. This is bet whatever you got. Bet this smart water bottle. Bet this laundry in the background. Bet my Raiders poster that my girlfriend made me. Bet my closet door that's halfway open and looks like shit. Bet this terrible background. Bet this hat. Bet this shirt. Bet my microphone. Sponsor me. That was probably really loud. Bet whatever. You know what I mean? Bet your beard. Bet your eyebrows. Bet something. Under. Big under. Team's fucking trash. I don't care. The offensive line's going to have a regression. This team's not even memorable to me. Maybe this is just Colts hating. I don't know why I'd have hatred for the Colts, but worse than people think. Quarterback situation is going to be disgusting. If Daniel Jones plays, the team's going to suck. If Anthony Richards plays, the team's really going to suck. I think they win 7 games, maybe 6 games, maybe 5 games. Who knows? I think the Colts could be fighting for that number 1 overall pick this year. Would not be betting any of my hard-earned currency on the Colts taking the over. I would be absolutely hammering, sledgehammer on the over. On the under. Just boom right there on the under. Fuck the Colts this year. The Jags, 7.5 games. Your Jacksonville Jaguars. Sneaky. They're 7.5. Sneaky, disgusting little over for me. Just so they win 8 games. They win 9 games, just barely. Just sneak over. They are 25th in the league in terms of strength of schedule, ranked by PFF. And if they get a healthy Trevor Lawrence, I think they fight for a playoff spot, and they lose. They don't get a playoff spot, but they could be in the race. They could be in the race. Check out the hat, though. They could be in the race. 7.5 games. I'm going to sneakily take the over. I think in the draft they got better at wide receiver and DB at the same time with one pick. So that's a big point. Trevor Lawrence, hopefully healthy. Again, like I said, wouldn't be gambling on Trevor Lawrence to be healthy. But he's not as injury prone as a lot of these guys that I've talked about. And 25th in the league in strength of schedule means something. You get to play the Colts. You get to play the Panthers, who I just said are going to be sneaky over, but I think they're going to be worse than the Jags. And I think the Colts are going to be worse than the Jags. And your Houston Texans, 9.5 games, sneaky over. A lot of people think the Texans are going to be a Super Bowl contender. They're going to be this. They're going to be that. They said that last year. I didn't believe in it last year. I think that they are good and will win 10 games. Another just creep. Another just barely get over, right? But not Super Bowl contenders. I think that this defense is going to look awesome. I fucking love D'Amico Ryans. I actually genuinely like that guy. He seems like a solid, cool-ass dude. I love Will Anderson, love Derek Stingley. That offensive line is going to fucking suck this year, and that's going to be what holds them back. There's not a whole lot of ways to improve your offensive line once the season starts. You've got the draft and you've got free agency, and offensive linemen don't hit free agency often that are good. And you didn't draft them. The Texans are going to fucking suck. This offensive line is going to be stinky as fuck. They traded away offensive linemen. I don't trust their receiver core to be good. I think their receiving core is awesome. Is hurt, probably. A lot of this is injury-based, man. I'm trying not to be Debbie Downer here, but sometimes you got to be Debbie Downer to win some money, even though I'm taking the over. I am taking the over. As much as I'm shitting on them right now, I am taking the over, but the reason I think that it's not way over is that offensive line, injury-prone, and I think that that's pretty much it, man. I'm fucking really high on Derek Stingley, though. Top 3 corner in the league. I like him. That is my over-unders for the AFC. We will do the NFC coming up soon. Go argue with me. Tell me I'm fucking stupid for taking the under on the Chargers. Tell me I'm fucking stupid for taking the over on the Panthers. Yell at me. I want to argue. I like to argue. Give me some shit to respond to. Give me a comment I can post right here. And I can put, this dipshit said blah, 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 blah.